Hello and welcome to this week's FDAX trading recap of last week's market from the 6th to the 11th of November. Having a look at day one, so this was a Monday. We did a couple of buy trades and realistically was looking for the rejection. We kind of saw some rejection off the pivot and I got long hoping the market would be positive for the day. And then again at the close, in hindsight, and this is why we always do recaps, because it's very good for the learning of the trader to basically develop the skills and that sort of thing. So we had a really good push up. It didn't hit anything to make it a good sell as such, other than to target the close or the pivot perhaps. But that push up didn't reach anything to bounce off. It didn't even really reach the previous day's breakout long, for example. But it did breach the M5 Bollinger Band. So that's a consideration now. We came down from there, basically had a little rejection off the pivot. I was kind of hoping there's a bit of build up. There's a wick here that kind of maybe built enough support to send the market long. But the market did hit the close gap, which is often a target. It's probably not the smartest move to go against going for that target. So going long before we've hit that close price maybe wasn't so bright. Now we did come right down to the previous day's low, had a bit of a rejection, only about 18 points, 19 points is a maximum, so not really a valid trade, and that would have got stopped out later on anyway if we did get long off this level. So not really anything that we should have taken as such or that worked. But basically the market came right down to the breakout short, maybe 35 points in that. And again, if you held that trade, it wouldn't have come back in your favor at all. If you had have held it throughout the day looking for that 40 points or perhaps to come back and touch the close again. So really bad trading day to start off the week. Usually Mondays are one of the better days for what I look for and what I've done in the past. However, this was not one of them. So 2 losses in a row. And again, trading twice in the one day when the market's still going against you, it's probably not the best move either. So doing these recaps is really about learning and developing your skills and understanding the market so that you can come back and hopefully do better the next week. And perhaps eliminate some of these mistakes like doubling up in a situation that's not really an incredible trading setup. It was more based around opinion. And we can see the result of that. We lost about $12 or a little over, so it's just a consideration there. Probably shouldn't have done those trades. Moving on, we'll have a look at the Tuesday. We had a really good bounce off the breakout short and would have came up and hit the target of about 40 points or 50 points. If we held on and just left it, we definitely could have touched that close gap. No trading for me today on this one. However, there was a really good trading setup. It almost went up right up to the other side of the other Camarillo points, broke through the pivot, so could have got around 110 points there if you had have held that trade and kind of put your target just a little bit below these breakout long and R1, these pivot levels up here. So ideal target for this day, we had a really nice spike outside the Bollinger Band into this level and then pushed right up. It came very close to the close, so we came within about 4 points. So obviously putting your target a little bit ahead of that close gap would have seen you in and out quite nicely. What is it, about 20 minutes that trade would have taken to reach fruition. About a 1-to-1 risk-reward ratio on that, a little bit better. Didn't trade that day. So we'll head over to the 8th where we did trade. So we had, at the open, had the S1 and the breakout short, and we also had the low just a little bit below that. We kind of found a bit of feet at these levels before the market opened. And then as we opened, we kind of came down, touched these levels, and then pushed right up to the pivot and well beyond. I had my target just below the close gap. So as we saw previously, the close gap was filled, but it was within sort of 4 points. It didn't quite get all the way. So I had my target a little bit lower than the close. just to try and get some more certainty around getting hit. Now, I did get in twice into this one because the market was looking really positive. I had a good feeling about it, and we got about $18 or $19 on that trade. So we made up for the Monday loss and a little bit of additional profit there. So could have held that all the way up, but obviously you never know, and we were already in a loss for the week. So it was important for me to lock in some profits, and it was quite a good and precise target. We did see some rejection for the next sort of half hour to 40 minutes before bouncing back off the pivot and right up to the R2. There could have been about 180 points in that, even up to 200 points. So could have been a really, really good couple of trades. I traded twice there, but I had a lot of confidence once again. This was a bit better than Monday because it was off a particular level. It was at the open, and there wasn't really anything stopping us from going up further. And I had potentially some more rejection here at the previous day's low that could have come in if it did go against me a little further, and then a big drop down here. So if it was going to go south, it was going to go quite a distance, or it was going to get held up around these levels. So I went for it, it worked out, so that was really nice. Over to the next day now, so this is a Thursday, and just having a look at what happened. So there wasn't much setting up here that I could kind of see as a really positive trading setup. So it looks a lot like the Monday. We had a bit of support. We were kind of trading around the closed gap. So it was basically filled, and there was a bit of support just kind of pushing the market up. Since we had a kind of similar setup on the Monday, I didn't really like the look of the DAX. So what I did, I'm just going to change charts now. I did actually trade the FTSE, also known as the UK 100. And we had a much better setup on that one. So changing over to the UK, it's not all about the DAX for this session. We had a couple of... So I had a sell trade originally, that was an error, and I realized it was going the opposite direction. I must have grabbed the wrong script, because as I talk about in my other trading setups and how to use copy traders with sockets and that kind of thing, the script I used was incorrect. So I closed that trade. It was positive. It was going against me still a little bit. So that was more luck than anything. The market came down a little further, and then I used the correct script to buy the market. I had a bit of confidence thinking that the market was pushing down, reaching these lower levels, hitting these cam levels, and then finding its feet to then target the closed gap. So from that second position just below this level here, it was about 30 points. Now on the UK, we do generally use smaller targets because it's a less volatile market, also a tighter stop. So I usually go about 30 and 30 pips profit and loss either side. And the target was around 30 points. So that worked out quite well. So about $5.6 in that. So overall for the week, up $12. And as I mentioned, the Python socket copier, it trades another account that basically has the money, whereas this account is focusing on just the market rather than the dollar figure and trading just at minimum volume. Now that's to keep mental focus and a focus on what's going on the charts and the information that I'm receiving and how it's bouncing off these levels, rather than going for bigger targets or getting nervous about the money. It's all about analysis and trading and executing the actual market that's in front of you. Anyway, it was a profitable week last week, which was good. So let's see what this week brings. Good luck with your trading.